Ladies and gentlemen, we are fired up for yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast. We're back, baby. And today we're going over UFC Fight Night, Volkov versus Rozenstruik. We have had some technical issues, but you can't stop us. Let's get it done, baby. This computer may catch on fire in the middle of the podcast, but that's a way to go out, baby. So honestly, we're not going to break down the last week because there was no fight card last week. We are eager for fights. We are eager to get back, and we're eager to get paid, baby. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. Hopefully everything works like it's supposed to. If not, who gives a fuck? Because we're going to make sure that we post everything on Twitter, over on Instagram, the good old TikTok, making sure we still give you content no matter what, technical issues or not. Where there's a will, there's a way. And we have a damn good card this weekend. We've had a rough stretch of some pretty sketchy cards where the only reason to watch it was if you have money on it. This fight card, there are some prospects, and there are some just overall good fights on the card. There's good ones to bet. There's good ones to just sit back and watch. I am hyped. There's still 14 fights. None of them, knock on wood, have fallen off yet. So, again, there's 14 of them. We have a pretty shaky laptop, so we're just going to hop right into it. And here's one that should not be the very first fight of the night, but for whatever reason it is. I unfortunately, let me go ahead and pull these odds up for you with ESPN. We have Erin Blanchfield. Last time I checked, she was like a minus 375 favorite, or sorry, 575 favorite, something ridiculous. It's probably been steamed by now, and justifiably so, because she is the GOAT of the women's division. Erin Blandfield will just go a minus 550 based on ESPN, going up against JJ Aldridge at plus 400. Let's start with the female flyweight GOAT, Erin Blandfield. She is nasty, man. She's 23 years old. Does not fight like it. She has a shiny 8-1 record. She has phenomenal jiu-jitsu. I believe she is a black belt. She has really, really freakishly good wrestling. Wrestling you don't see from just female fighters in general. And there's a thing, early UFC, if you could wrestle, you're going to win. Heavyweight division right now, if you can wrestle, you're going to win. Women's MMA, if you can wrestle, you can beat Amanda Nunes, apparently, because all you have to do is be durable and be able to wrestle. And that's exactly what Juliana Pena did. And now she's a champion. Erin Blanchfield, future champion, baby. She's got great cardio, great wrestling, and the striking's not bad. She has a few highlight reel head kick knockouts on her record. So you see a lot of submissions here, and that's another thing. She will go out there and get finishes. She's just not one of these generic, no power, just jab you to death and key off. MMA fighters. No, she is actually going out there for the kill. She has submissions, she has knockouts, she has decisions, she has split decisions, and she has that important L. And it was to Tracy Cortez, who is a UFC vet and has looked great in the UFC, hasn't lost in the UFC yet. And that fight was the definition of a robbery. There's no way in shape Erin Blanchfield lost that fight. This girl is truly 9-0. She is not 8-1. If that fight wasn't in Arizona and Tracy had that hometown crowd, if it was anywhere else in the world, Erin Blanchfield won that fight. It was a screw job. But she has, again, the wrestling, the striking, the jiu-jitsu pedigree, and she's fought a lot of people. Tracy Cortez is good. Victoria Leonardo is in the UFC. Sarah Alpar. Miranda Maverick, the one everyone thinks is the next future champ, came out and she dominated her, got 7 takedowns, made it look easy. So you're thinking, if she can't be stopped, who do you give her? And here comes JJ Aldridge. JJ, she's okay. She's not the worst. She kind of is what her record reflects at 11-4. Her striking's okay. It's a little overrated, but it's decent, especially for her weight class. There's not a lot of great strikers at 125. Her cardio checks out. There's nothing wrong with it, in all honesty. She has 70% takedown defense, which is important. My only issue is looking at that record. I mean, she has fought Jillian Robertson, who can't wrestle worth a damn. Vanessa Demopoulos, who can't wrestle worth a damn. Courtney Casey, who can't wrestle worth a damn. Sabina Maza, who can't wrestle worth a damn. Lauren Mueller, who's not even a true 125-pounder, got cut from the promotion. Macy Barber, who can't wrestle worth a damn. Polyana Viana, who can't wrestle worth a damn. Danielle Taylor, a professional boxer. She has not. Oh, and Chan Mi Jun. We have Joanna Lima. I do not see one wrestler that she's fought in the UFC. So the fact that she has a 70% takedown defense is a little sketchy because none of those women should have taken her down. If anyone, Jillian, and God, Jillian can't wrestle. She's also hittable for someone with great striking, or supposed to be. She gets hit more than she dishes out. It's like she's so scared of the takedown. Her jiu-jitsu's fine. I think she's like a brown belt. She's perfectly fine on the ground. But again, she's no Erin Blanchfield on the feet. I'd probably give her the edge, in all honesty, but by the slimmest of margins. But if Erin wants this fight to the ground, she's probably going to get the fight to the ground. And at that point, there's no stopping this chick. I love Erin. She is by far my favorite women's MMA fighter currently, her and my girl Big Norm. Otherwise, Blanchfield for days, baby. The line's a little out of control, but you can add her in every single one of your parlays. Book it. Next fight of the night, we have Andreas Michailidis going up against Renat, God bless me, Fakhretdinov. He's Russian, baby. Otherwise, we have Renat at minus 270, Andreas at plus 220. And let me tell you, this line is off. This isn't right. That is not what it should be. Let's start with Andreas. I don't know who he pissed off between Sean Shelby or Dana White or McMaynard. I don't know which matchmaker or promoter he pissed off, but he does not have easy fights here. Currently, he has a loss to Modesta Bukauskas, and I mean, that kid's not good, but people thought he was good, and they wanted to give the young prospect a tough test, so they gave him Andreas. That was at 205. Then he went on to fight KB Bueller. That was a layup. That's a good one. Otherwise, KB is god awful. I think he's already been cut. And then his next fight, he was a sacrificial lamb to Alex Pereira, who they want to fight Izzy really badly. He's the guy that's knocked out Izzy and the guy that has beat Izzy twice in kickboxing. They're trying to push Alex. He's fighting Sean Strickland next, and it could honestly, a win might get him a title shot, in all honesty. But again, they wanted to highlight Alex Pereira on a pay-per-view card. It was Usman Covington, the biggest card of the year. And that's exactly what they did. Andreas got knocked out 18 seconds into the second round. Now, this fight is listed at welterweight. I don't know if that's a typo or what's going on, because both of these men generally fight at 170. I hope that Andreas Michailidis doesn't have a Jared Cannonier effect going on where he lost at heavyweight, so he went to light heavyweight, lost at light heavyweight, went to middleweight. I don't know if that's what he's got going on, because we've seen him at 205. To see him at 170 would be kind of weird, and we definitely got to watch the weigh-ins. Or it's a typo. So TBD, we're not 100% certain on that. But as him as a fighter, I mean, his striking's okay. He throws 100% into every single strike. He's trying to knock you out. The only problem is he's also a little bit of a can crusher. Like we said, KB was a fraud. We have the rest of his wins. This kid was 41-37, like 37 professional losses. The next guy he beat was 9-3. What is what it is. And the guy before that was 6-5. He has a 2-1, a 7-1 on there is fine, a 2-0, 12-9. All these guys have winning records, but by like one or two fights. It's very, very sketchy. All in all, he has no cardio, shaky chin. Wrestling is, he can panic wrestle if he has to, but that's not his forte. Jiu-jitsu is TBD. And his striking, he hits hard, but it's not the most technical in the world. He just blitzes you and then has to catch his breath and then blitzes you and has to catch his breath for the first 7 minutes, and then he's just gassing out. His opponent, I was all ready to go in on. He has a sparkly record of 20-2. That's why he's such a big favorite. But the problems are he's making his MMA debut, and he has a sketchy record too. In all honesty, I talk about Andreas. This guy's record's even sketchier. He beat Eric Spicely to get into the UFC. Eric Spicely is a UFC vet, but God, was he one of the worst UFC fighters I've ever seen. So he beat one of the worst UFC guys ever. He has a win over Alberto Uda, who also was a UFC fraud. And then outside of that, the guys he's beaten, right? 20 wins on his career. He has 2 UFC wins. 2 wins against some people that were in the UFC, and they were both 2 of the worst middleweights UFC's ever seen. His other wins are against people that were 6-4, 3-3, 1-1, 0-0. This man was 14-2 when he was fighting someone that was 0-0. He was 13-2 fighting someone that was 0-0. He was 12-2 fighting someone that was 1-1. I mean, the guys are 10-8. 0-0, 2-1, 0-1, 1-2, 7-1, 0-1, 2-0, 0-0, 0-2, 0-1, 0-0. Like, why is everyone he's fighting have 1 to 2 professional fights? But the man has nearly 20 fights. Why is he fighting people that have 2 fights? It's very sketchy. Definition of a padded record. His striking is god awful. He just comes in and swings hooks as hard as he can. That's all he can do. He likes to throw counters and hooks. That's all he has on the feet, and he's just wild. His wrestling was not bad. Surprised me. Probably because he's Russian. I mean, it just comes generic. Whether you want to be good at wrestling or not, it just happens. This will be his debut, so we have to watch out for that. And his cardio seemed okay. He didn't gas. He slowed Andreas Gasson. So I think the line is way off, but you can't put money on Michaelitis. They're trying to push this Renat guy. That's all they're trying to do. I don't like debuting fighters as big favorites, but God, Andreas is bad. So he's a little bit of a can crusher, but Andreas is a little bit of a can. So the pick is going to be Renat. The bet would be Renat. I don't feel good about it. What I feel better about is probably the over 1.5, but even that sketches me out a little. So just be weary of that fight. Next fight of the night isn't as scary here. We have Jeff Molina, my boy, a fellow better, going up against Zhalgas Samagulov. My boy, I love Zhalgas. Jeff is a minus 190 favorite here. He'll come back on Zhalgas as plus 160. Let's just give my guy Zhalgas some praise because I do like him a lot, in all honesty. He's this little, like, 5'1" scrappy Russian dude. His striking's okay. It's not the worst, but it's not the greatest. He has absolutely no power. He's not going to knock anyone out. His jiu-jitsu is on point. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. He's a little bit hittable. He gets hit more than he dishes out. But he's generally durable. He's very, very hard to knock out. I know Manel Kopp knocked him out in his last fight. But outside of that, I don't think the man has ever been finished one other time. So he's had 20 professional fights. He got knocked out twice. So he's a pretty durable guy. He has wins over Tagir Magulov is a good win, even though that was pretty sketchy, in all honesty. That was another hometown win. Tyson Nam, it's an okay win. A lot of wins on the Russian regional scene, but the Russian regional scene is a good regional scene. So no shame there. All in all, he was supposed to be a lot better coming over, and he's just looked average. So, I mean, it is what it is. He's the definition of a generalist. His cardio's okay. His striking's okay. His jiu-jitsu's okay. His wrestling's okay. He'll mix everything together. He's just probably not going to finish you, and it's probably going to be a greasy decision. Issue is he's going against my boy Jeff Molina, who's probably one of the best people that they have at Glory MMA. Molina has really high volume. He doesn't have a ton of power either. So I do expect this to probably hit the judges' scorecard. His striking is very good, though. He has 37% takedown defense. That's the concern with Jeff Molina. He can't wrestle. He can get up. You can take him down with ease, and he will get right back up, which is nice. But he shouldn't be getting taken down this much. He's really got to work on that. So he is going to have a little bit of a ceiling here unless he fixes that. Good news is Glory MMA, I said they only have a few guys. They're notorious for taking bad guys and making them a little better. They finally have some killers in that gym. David Onama, killer. Jeff Molina, killer. And they just got the former champ Brandon Moreno to start training there. So you have the former champ of your weight class training with you every day. And Moreno is a phenomenal wrestler. Hell of a lot better than Zhalgas Samagulov. So at that point, if Moreno's able to help Molina, who's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage, he's already going to have a striking advantage, he'll have a volume advantage. If he can keep this thing on the feet, he's going to piece up Zhalgas. I like Zhalgas, but this is probably another L. So I like Jeff Molina quite a bit. I don't like that the line is creeping up here. Minus 190 is probably as high as I feel really comfortable with. You say minus 200 and above, it starts getting a little sketchy because Zhalgas is decent. He's not bad. But all in all, Jeff Molina, if he does get taken down, he should be able to get up. And on the feet, he will have an advantage. So the pick is going to be Molina. The bet is going to be El Jefe, Jeff Molina. Then that takes us to the next fight of the night. And here we have the first dog we're looking to pull the trigger on. We have Tony Gravely at minus 135 going up against Johnny Munoz at plus 115. Let's go ahead and start with Tony Gravely because this dude pisses me the fuck off. I love Tony Gravely. I think he's very good. I think he has phenomenal wrestling. He has like a Division II background in wrestling. I think his striking's okay. I think it's underrated. It's not that bad, in all honesty. I think he's fought good guys. Fighting Oliveira is not the worst. Simon Oliveira is not the greatest, not the worst. Nate Maness, he looked phenomenal against. I'm pretty sure I had him as a lock. And then he kind of shit the bed. He got caught and then got tapped out by Nate Maness, who I cannot wait to fade. Nate sucks. He sucks. He's not good. Anthony Burchak, he disposed of easily. Gerald DeFreitas, he disposed of. It wasn't really a split. I don't know why they put that. Brett Johns fucked him up, but Brett Johns is a phenomenal fighter. Ray Rodriguez disposed of easily. He does what he's supposed to do. You see Chris Montino on there. He's fought a lot of killers on the regional scene. Patchy Mix. I mean, he fought Draco Rodriguez is in the UFC. He fought a lot of UFC guys. Marab, who's like the number 5 guy in the world. Manny Bermudez, Ricky Bandejas. He's fought a lot of UFC guys on the regional scene. So he was Pat Sabatini. Like, he's fighting great guys on the regional scene. The issue is when you look at his L's, Pat Sabatino, submission. Ricky Bandejas, submission. Marab, decision, because that's what Marab does. Manny Bermudez, submission. Patchy Mix, submission. Brett Johns, submission. Nate Maness, submission. Ground hook to ground strike. So he was on top of him and just beating the shit out of him. But end of the day, you see that once it hits the ground and he's on his back, he's in a little bit of a predicament. He loves sticking his head in the guillotines. He keeps getting out of them. He's an American top team and they are drilling that, and he is getting better at that. But he shouldn't be in that position to begin with. But he seems to get tired. And when he gets tired, he gets sloppy. When he gets sloppy, he gets tapped out. And that's not a good look here. He gives up his back a lot. Not a fan of that. So I think he has good striking. I think it's probably better than Johnny Munoz. He has good wrestling. It's probably better than Johnny Munoz. He's sketchy on the ground. Not good against Johnny Munoz. And he has a sketchy gas tank. Not good against Johnny Munoz. And he's been dropped a lot. Even some of these wins against Burchak, against Simon Oliveira, he got rocked. So even though Nate Maness was able to put him out, other people have hurt him often. And that's not a good look if you're possibly chinny here and have a bad gas tank. That's too much to rely on. So he is the proverbial apple pie shitter, as they would say at the Dogger Pass podcast. This dude cannot be trusted with your money. He's a great fighter, but he finds ways to lose. Johnny Munoz, on the other hand, should also, like Aaron Blanchfield, be undefeated. He too has a loss against Nate Maness, and I think that was a screw job. Part of it was he lost a point for low blows, so that's on him. In all honesty, I mean, if you want to give him the L, give him the L. But if it was not for that point deduction, he would have won that fight. Otherwise, he will have a 2-inch reach advantage here, which is big because he's a kicker. He's not that good on the feet. He's okay. It's not like Gravely is some kind of killer on the feet. He's just a little more technical. Munoz just likes to throw stuff and practice stuff. And the fact they have a reach advantage is big here. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. He's world-class on the ground, and that seems to be Tony's kryptonite. So Tony, who struggles with his chin and his submissions, is going to go up against someone who has a 2-inch reach advantage and is world-class on the ground. Probably not the greatest look. All in all, his striking, again, is just okay. He's pretty low volume, which I'm not a fan of. He's mostly just kicks, in all honesty. Cardio's okay. It checks out. And again, Gravely gasses. Johnny Munoz will take over the later the fight goes. And all in all, if his wrestling's not that bad, I don't think Gravely just takes him down easily. And for someone that's such a great offensive wrestler, I failed to mention Tony Gravely has a 53% takedown defense. That's not good. If Johnny Munoz gets his back, it is over. It is game over. So my prediction is Tony Gravely comes out, gets early takedown, looks good round 1. Then he starts to slow a little. If Johnny Munoz somehow gets behind him or gets on top of him, it is game over. I am predicting a second round finish for Johnny Munoz. I think he gets it done early. If Gravely wins, it's going to be a real greasy, sloppy decision. If Gravely loses, like 5 of his other 6 losses, or 6 to 7, whatever it was, he's probably going to get tapped out. So the pick, I think Gravely's probably the better fighter at this point in age, but his disadvantages are where Munoz excels. And if I have plus money on Munoz, I'm going to pick Munoz and bet him. I will have a bet on Johnny Munoz come Saturday night. Then, next fight of the night. Again, that's a good one. It's followed by one that's a little shaky. We have Benoit Saint Denis going up against Nicholas Stolze. We have Benice as a minus 160 favorite going up against Nicholas Stolze at plus 135. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what to do with this fight. Benoit is someone that the UFC liked a lot. He's someone that's known for being durable because of the life-changing beating he took from Alessio Zaleski. Sorry, I can never say his name. Alessio Zaleski. Just a year ago. He's the one where the beating was so badly and they needed to stop the fight that the ref there got kicked out of the arena for not stopping the fight because that's how bad the beating was. So yeah, he's durable. And yeah, that was his only L, but that wasn't a good look. Being durable is not a good look in the UFC. That means you get the shit kicked out of you all the time. That's not what you want to do. That's not how you get wins. Doesn't look good to the judges. So all in all, his striking's okay. Schedule, not the greatest. He has not fought the greatest guys in the world. Jiu-jitsu's fine. It looks okay. It does look like he slows down a touch if he doesn't get you out of there early. And it shows that this fight might be at 155. Both these men generally fight at 170. So again, I don't know if Tapology is messing up or if these men are actually dropping a weight class. I will need to see a little bit later on to see what's going on here. Otherwise, again, I don't really have a lot to say about him except for the fact that he's usually a quick finisher. He slows down in his fights. He's hard to put away. But he's just okay everywhere. He's kind of unproven, so it's not a lot to go off of. Stolze, on the other hand, it's kind of the same ordeal. He's going to have a too much reach advantage here, but he's pretty low volume. He's pretty hittable. He gets hit more than he dishes out as well. His jiu-jitsu is pretty decent. It's not bad. It's pretty good. But he kind of has like the tall man striking, where his chin's always hanging out there a little bit. He really doesn't like block shots. He just kind of leans back a little, and he just reaches with not a lot of power. He's just trying to touch, go. It's just his cardio seems okay. It seems to check out. It's probably a little better than Benoit's, to be 100% honest with you. He also hasn't really fought the greatest competition. Got knocked out by Jared Gooden, which at the time didn't look bad. Now doesn't look the greatest. Ramazan Ameev is a tough out. So I guess he hasn't fought the worst guys in the UFC. Definitely tougher guys than Benoit has fought. But I don't know. He's not that good. Neither one of these guys are probably UFC caliber, but they're fighting each other. I don't really know which way to lean. I'd probably just go dog or pass. And then I saw one important thing. I have a lot of fades here, like the Contender Series fade. We have the ones of fading people that are retiring fighters. And there's one other thing that I've always faded. If I'm doing fight tape and one of your fights come up on Facebook, they've never won. I've never seen a Facebook fighter get a W in the UFC. And Benoit has a Facebook fight as I was doing fight tape. Can't bet him. Can't do it. I've never seen it happen. I've never seen a win. And you have plus money on the other side. Fuck it. It's dog or pass. Give me Stolze. Not proud of it. Don't even know if I'm going to make it to the bank. We're going to see how I'm feeling at that point of the night. But if I'm putting any money on this fight, it's dog or pass, baby. It's Stolze all day, every day. And then that's going to take us to another one that I'm pretty sketched out about. We have Damon Jackson, who I just cannot seem to get right, as a big favorite here, going up against Dan Argueda. I can't remember the odds in full, but he was like -3 something. God, he was like -375 or something crazy like that. And I remember Daniel was almost +300. It didn't make a lot of sense because Damon Jackson isn't that good. I keep disrespecting the man, but he keeps proving me wrong. But I don't know, something about him. I just don't like the guy. His wrestling is sneaky good. It's actually not that bad offensively. It's kind of the same thing as Gravely. He can take you down if he wants you down, but you can take him down if you want him down. So it's a little odd there. He has good wrestling offense, but not defense. He's a good camp at Fortis MMA. His striking's not good. It's not good at all. His durability is also in a little bit of question. He's been knocked out multiple times. He's in PFL, he got knocked out in 10 seconds. That's not a good look. Ilya Tapora knocked him out in 2 minutes. Kevin Aguilar knocked him out. Oh, God. Reverse bulldog choke by Yancey. Yeesh. Yeah, these are not good losses here. Decent record, don't get me wrong, 20-4, but he's been finished in all 4 losses. So that's a little sketchy. 3-inch reach advantage here is pretty big for him, but I mentioned how bad his striking is. He is hittable. He gets hit more than he dishes out, so that's also concerning. His cardio seems okay. It's not great. He doesn't really gas, but it's not phenomenal. He's just kind of there. All in all, he's kind of a fragile generalist. He's good, and not even. He's fragile, and he's a decent wrestler and pretty good on the ground. That's all he has. In hindsight, you have Argueta. I can't really say his name. Daniel Argueta. He's the guy from The Ultimate Fighter, the previous season. He lost to Ricky Tercios, who ended up winning the season, so he lost to the champ. So shit happens. His striking is okay. He's not the greatest on the feet either. Throws a lot of winging hooks, not very technical. He kind of leans on his wrestling here. This will be his debut. He seems to slow down a little in his fights generally. And this fight is going to be short notice for him, up a weight class. So generally he's a bantamweight. He's going to take this at 145. Not the biggest fan of that. He's fought at 145 multiple times in the past, so it's not new to him. But he's definitely more preferred of a bantamweight. He reminds me a lot of Ricky Simone. So if you want to look at him as 8-0 Ricky Simone right now, that's really what he is. Not the greatest striking, but he's serviceable. Pretty good wrestling, and that's about it. He is Ricky Simone to a T, same weight class and everything. So does Ricky Simone beat Damon Jackson? Probably. Does 8-0 Ricky Simone and Daniel here beat Damon Jackson? It's sketchy. He can. He definitely can get the job done. I could also see Damon getting the job done, but the odds make me want to go dog or pass. I don't want to do a short notice up a weight class UFC debut as a bet. Oh, man, but you can't touch the over-under because Damon is fragile. This is a dog or pass situation. You have no choice. The pick is going to be Damon Jackson. But I can never get him fucking right. And the bet would be Daniel just off of sheer odds. Just the value. That's the only reason to go his way. Next fight of the night, we're looking at Joe Selecki. This is a good one. This is one of my favorites of the night. We have Joe Selecki going up against Alex De Silva. It could be a great fight. It could also be a snooze fest. It really depends on who's winning, in all honesty. We have Joe Selecki as a -175 favorite, Alex De Silva +150. Let's start with Joe Selecki. He's one that I also am a little confused with, but I keep getting right. I bet Flash Gordon against him, was able to get that correct. I bet him against Jim Miller as a lock, was able to get that correct. I bet him against Austin Hubbard, was able to get that correct. But he makes me sweat in all of these. That Flash Gordon win I got over him was sketchy. He might have won that fight in all honesty, but I'll take the money, baby. That Jim Miller, he got dominated the first round. It made me sweat. Then he started to slow down in the third, but he got the job done. And Austin Hubbard, that was pretty slick in all honesty. He just kind of took him down and tapped him out. So that was easy. But yeah, man, he is phenomenal jiu-jitsu. Very, very good. Wrestling's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's doable. His striking is getting better. It's still not good, but he's getting there. You see him improving each and every time. He is hittable. He is pretty low volume. That's part of the reason he's hittable. Yeah, he's getting hit more than he's dishing out. He's hardly dishing anything, like under 2 significant strikes per minute. He just wants to take you down and control you on the ground and tap you out. The issue is he's one of these black belts who's phenomenal on top, like Sean Brady-esque on top, but has nothing to offer off his back. He is not scary off his back whatsoever if you know what's going on. And we saw that in the Jim Miller fight. Jim Miller took him down, and he just got dominated down there. Couldn't do anything. He didn't offer any submissions, tried to tap him out, couldn't really get up. He just was kind of a fish out of water. And then the next two rounds, he was able to take Jim down. And once he was on top, he's a hammer on top. We saw it with Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson got taken down in one of his fights against the one he went to a draw with Ricky Glenn. He looked great on top, but when Ricky got on top, he had nothing to offer off his back. It's just some of these jiu-jitsu guys are very good on top, but have nothing off of their back. That is Joe Solecki. De Silva, kind of the same thing. He's very, very good on the ground. His striking's okay. It's not the greatest, but he hits like a truck. He hits very, very hard. He's 21-3 for a reason. He's a pretty good record here fighting okay people, but he's also kind of hittable. You can hit him more than he dishes out, and he's kind of low volume as well. So that was concerning to me. So it's probably going to be a wash on the feet. I'll give Joe Solecki the edge on the ground, but barely. And no, honestly, I don't think he's going to tap him out. So it's really going to come down to the wrestling. What De Silva has a 77% takedown defense. That seems okay. That's presentable. It really comes down to the wrestling. Whoever the better wrestler is going to win. So here's the catch for you. And this is why I'm probably going to bet the dog in this circumstance. De Silva's 26 years old. We haven't seen De Silva since he fought Brad Riddell. Brad Riddell is not a bad fighter. And De Silva won the first round, and then he gassed out, and he got tore up the next two rounds. Now, there's a big common occurrence here. He's 26 years old. So the last time we saw him, he was 24 going to war with Brad Riddell. We see these young kids that get exposed way too early, take a year or two, I'll say 2 years minimum off, 1 year minimum off, 1 to 2 years off, and then come back and look phenomenal. We've seen it time and time again. And off the top of my head, I think a Claudio Puelles took 2 years off, came back, and is on a 3-fight winning streak. I look at Nick Naragamanu, who took a life-changing beating, came back after 2 years, on a 3-fight winning streak. And then I look at just last event, Chase Hooper got tore up by Alex Caceres, came back and looked absolutely dominant the last event here. We see these young kids take a year or two off, come back, show their improvements. And they just have to be against the right level. And Joe Solecki, in all honesty, might be that level. So the pick is going to be De Silva. The bet at plus money, going to be De Silva. Let's get it done again. Next fight of the night, we can go over quickly because no one gives an absolute flying fuck about this fight. We have Felice Herrig as a favorite, minus 125, going up against Karolina Kowalkiewicz at plus 105. Felice sucks. Felice is 37 years old. Haven't seen Felice in 2 years since she got tapped out in like a minute by Berna Jandiroba. She's very hittable. She gets hit more than she dishes out. She'll mix in the takedown. She averages 1 or 2 a fight, but she's not like a crazy wrestler. Her striking's okay. It's not the greatest. All in all, she's just a 37-year-old women generalist, and that's not really going to cut it anymore. As long as you have any sort of niche, you're probably going to beat her. Good news for her is that Karolina doesn't really have a niche. She's also kind of a generalist, and she's 36. She's someone who has retired and since came back. And when she came back, she got tapped out by Jessica Penne. And I had money on Karolina, and I'm still trying to forgive her. She pissed me all the way off that night. Jessica Penne, all she has is a black belt. She can't wrestle. She can't strike. All she can do is try to tap you on the ground. Karolina took her down to the ground. That is the world's dumbest game plan I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how stupid you can be to come out and do exactly what the other person wants you to do. She didn't have to take you down. You took her down, and then she tapped you out easily. That is the dumbest thing. I can't trust Karolina with my money. She's on a big losing streak. She is on a 5-fight losing streak. And, she's very hittable. She gets hit more than she dishes out. Even though she does dish out a decent amount, she just gets hit a shit ton. We mentioned we don't bet on retiring fighters, and she has already retired, came back, and then showed a terrible IQ. And the irony is she's on a 5-fight losing streak. The last person she beat was Felice Herrig. This is a rematch that nobody wanted. So I don't know why we're getting this. No one wants to see this. No one wants to bet either of these 36 or 37-year-old women. So at that juncture, what do? I generally look at a dog or pass. And then I thought, well, Carolina mentioned retirement, but there's yet another fade that seems very, very effective. The OnlyFans fade. You do not bet someone on OnlyFans. You look at Kay Hansen, OnlyFans, defeated and cut from the UFC. Hannah Goldie, OnlyFans, defeated in the UFC. You look at Felice Herrig, has had multiple knee surgeries. That's why she's been off so frequently. Did OnlyFans to sustain some type of financial stability, came out, got tapped out in a minute against Verna. You fade OnlyFans fighters, you get dubs, baby. And Felice, sorry, you started throwing your feet on OnlyFans, so you're going to get that L. Give me dog or pass. Carolina pick. Carolina, god damn it, Carolina bet. All right, the next fight of the night is one that's probably going to be the most exciting fight on the card. Two of the most low level, but going to be the most fun to watch. We have Alonzo Menafield at minus 175 going up against Askar Mazarov at plus 150. Over, under, who cares? Bet the under. This fight will not last long. We have Askar. I want you to just take a look at Askar. What do you think he does? Just look at him. This man throws down. That's all he knows how to do. That's all he's able to do. His nickname is No Mercy. This Ukrainian dude is going to come out and swing hammers. That's all he can do. He is not a good striker. I mean, it's okay. In all honesty, he has a little bit of technique, but he's not the world's greatest striker. What he is very, very powerful. He wants to pressure you and move forward. That's all he knows how to do. He has zero jiu-jitsu. He has zero wrestling, shit ton of power, zero cardio. He comes out you like a berserker and tries to kick your head off. That's all he can do. And it's kill or be killed. You look at his record here. First round knockout, first round knockout, first round knockout. And look at his loss. First round knockout. Look at his other loss. Second round submission. His other losses. First round submission. Couldn't get off of he had to quit after the first round. First round submission, first round submission, first round elbows. First round submission, first round submission, first round submission. All of his losses are in the first or second round. All of his wins, knockout, triangle choke, decision. He has a decision. Good for him in 2015. First round submission, first round knockout, first round knockout, first round knockout, first round submission, first round knockout, first round knockout. Man, he has one fight that has gone to decision. He has had one fight that went to decision, one fight that went to the second round where he lost, all the rest in the first round. The man has had 32 professional fights. What does that tell you? That he's a fucking killer. It's kill or be killed. You're going to take him out early or he's going to take you out early. Straight power, no cardio. That's all he's got. Alonzo Menafield, same fucking thing. This dude comes out, has no technique whatsoever, just comes out and just blasts you as hard as he can. Fortis MMA, good camp. He has gone to a few decisions as of late, though. So that's the concerning thing. He initially came out and was guns blazing, just like Askar. All of his wins, first round knockout, second round knockout, first round knockout, first round knockout, first round knockout, first round knockout. And then he got decisioned by Devin Clark, and that ruined his career. He came out and he rocked Devin Clark like three times in the first round, but Devin Clark survived. And then he had nothing left. He gassed out and became a punching bag for Devin Clark. Second fight, he said, oh my God, my cardio is bad. What I'm going to do is take it real easy. And he took it real easy against OSP, lollygagging in the second round, trying to conserve energy, and got knocked the fuck out. Next fight, he fought Fabio Cerrone, short notice. Fabio's that bad. He choked him out. Fabio, Von Flue choke. You're basically choking yourself out. So Fabio went out and choked himself out. Hey, what are you going to do? And then Ed Short Fuse Herman, he did not want to blow his load. He couldn't knock out Ed Short Fuse. He was like 40 years old. Then his next fight also went to decision. So what we saw is he knocked out everyone in the first round. He lost his first ever fight and has gone to decision basically ever since. You can try to do that. You can do that against William Knight, who doesn't throw. You can do that against Ed Short Fuse Herman, who's 40 years old. You can do that against OSP, who doesn't throw. You can do that against Devin Clark, who wants to wrestle and does not throw. Askar wants to throw down. He can't slow down the pace because if he tries, Askar's going to clean his clock off. Askar doesn't know any other speed. So he's going to force the old Alonzo to come out, and somebody is dropping. These guys both suck, but they both pack a fucking punch. Two of the hardest punchers in the division going against each other. Only difference is they did that with William Knight, but Will wouldn't throw. Askar's coming, baby. So the pick is going to be Alonzo, because he's the UFC vet. Out of respect, they'll pick Alonzo. The bet, whatever the fucking under is. Under one. Under first round, whatever you can get. It's under. Under. Lock it in. Under. All right. Next fight of the night, we have Ode Osborne going up against, God, I can never say his name, Zamuk Adeshev. We have Zaruk as a plus 160 dog going up against Ode at minus 190. This is a weird fight. In all honesty, I don't know what to do with this. I like Adeshev. I like his striking. I think he's the more technical striker. He has 100% takedown defense, which is nice. Just not a lot of experience. You see him growing in the octagon. He's 4-3. His losses, I mean, Sumaderji is very good. Tyson Nam, he got clipped, and that's up a weight class, and he took that on short notice. In his other fight, he got choked out in his very first fight. He has a kickboxing background, so he's not necessarily just 4-3. Don't let him sleep on you. He's fought for years and years and years just in kickboxing, not MMA. He made the transition into MMA being 4-3. But that does not mean he's a 4-3 fighter. Believe me. He all in all, he's good striking. He has good cardio. He's just growing a lot in there. He's now a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, so he's working on his ground game. His wrestling, he tried to use it a little in the Ryan Benoit fight. We saw him get a few takedowns. So I just like what I'm seeing. I just like that he's improving each fight. Issue is he's fighting Ode, who also is improving and just has the physical advantages. He's someone that used to fight at 135, but is now fighting at 125. Most of his wins are via first round knockout or submission. He's a pretty good ground game. But again, Adeshev is now a brown belt, but again, his ground game's not bad. His striking, he hits pretty hard. It's pretty clean. He does slow down in fights, and he does get hit more than he dishes out. He's a clean striker, but he fights long and has the tall man defense, and you can still clip him. He has a 7-inch reach advantage, and that's huge here. He's going to have a wrestling advantage and a 7-inch reach advantage. I don't like that. My gut is telling me Adeshev, but just the physical characteristics, like you can't fade Ode here. I don't like the price. I like the value on Zaruk. I like the striking better of Zaruk. I like the gas tank of Zaruk. I just don't think I can get to the win. I think you have to stay away from this fight because I think it's a trap. I think it's an Ode trap, but I don't have the balls to bet Zaruk just because they're not going to look like they're in the same weight class. So the pick is going to be Ode. The bet would be Zaruk. But I'm probably going to stay away from it, in all honesty. When you split like that, it's not safe. Then the next fight of the night is interesting. Poliana Buentela going up against Karina Silva. I watched Karina Silva on the Contender Series, and I said, no matter what, when she gets to the UFC, fade her. She's not good. We talked about can crushers earlier. God, is she a can crusher. Yeah, she's had 18 pro fights, but please, for the love of God, look at her record. The girl she fought was 4-1 and she lost. Then she fought someone that was 0-0, 0-3, 0-0, 0-0, 4-0, and Marina Moroz, who's now in the UFC, and she got killed. She got beat in the first round. Then she fought someone that was 0-1, 0-0, 0-0. So we're 9 fights into her professional career, and she's fought one person with that's won a fight. And she lost to her. So that screams can crusher. Then she fought someone that was 7-2, got a win, no complaints there. Then she fought someone with a winning record of 3-0, and she lost. She got tapped out. Then she fought someone with a winning record of 2-0, and she lost. Then she fought someone that was 2-3, so we're back to the losing record. She got a win. Then her 14th fight into a professional career, she fought someone that was 1-0. Got to win. Then she fought someone that was 8-1. Nothing you can say there. That's fine. Then she fought someone that was 12-7, getting a little sketchy, but at least a winning record. She won there. And then she got to the Contender Series. So right now, she had 19 professional fights. 3 of them were justified, the wins. All the rest against people that had losing records, and the people that had winning records she lost against. Then she has a Contender Series, a true test, someone that's 20-3. How is she going to look? Probably not the greatest. She got her ass whooped. She got absolutely demolished. The girl beat her from pillar to post so badly that she gassed herself out, whooping Kareen's ass. And then at that juncture, Kareen slapped on a guillotine from out of nowhere. Desperation of desperation guillotine. And the other girl was so gassed, she got the tap and she got a contract. And I said, oh my God, this girl is a can crusher. She got whooped for 5 straight minutes. The other girl gassed herself out from beating her so badly. And then Kareen got the win, and the contract paid her no matter what. The issue is she's fighting Pollyanna Blanchfield, who I can't stand. She sucks too. She's a pretty decent striker. She has 80% takedown defense, and that's clutch because her jiu-jitsu is bad. She has absolutely no jiu-jitsu. You'll see her record is 8-4. She has a split to Luana, which is not the greatest look. Jillian Robertson decision because Jill took her down and she couldn't get up. She cannot get up off of her back. Same with Luana. When she took her down, she held her there the rest of the round. Cynthia took her down and held her down and tapped her out. And her first fight, her first loss, she was taken down. So if you take her down, she does not get up. She has absolutely no ground game. You don't necessarily tap her out. I know Cynthia Calvillo did, but otherwise, when you take her down, you can assure that she's going to lose a round because she's stuck there. And that's why the 80% takedown is huge, because Karina can't wrestle. So I can't even go over what Karina can do. She has decent power. She has decent jiu-jitsu. I will give her credit. Karina does have good jiu-jitsu, but she can't wrestle to get it down there. And this is her debut. She's a can crusher. She has questionable cardio. She slows down in all these fights as well. She's a Contender Series fade. You don't bet favorites that are making their UFC debut from the Contender Series if you're fighting a veteran. I think Pollyanna sucked. She has nothing off of her back. She's fighting someone that's decent on the ground, but she has 80% takedown, the better striking. She slows, but she doesn't gas, and Karina gasses. So give me the UFC veteran, even though it kills me, even though she's god-awful. I'll trust that she does not get taken down for at least 2 rounds. And if that's the case and it's on the feet, she's going to kill Karina on the ground or on the feet. So the pick is going to be Pollyanna. The bet is going to be Pollyanna, but I do not feel good. It's more of a fade on Karina. I said, no matter what, don't bet her. So I will not. Next fight of the night. We have 3 more fights, so we're flying through these. We have Mike Trizano going up against UFC debutant and Lucas Almeida. We have Mike Trizano as a -230 favorite going up against Lucas Almeida at +190. Now, we talked about the Contender Series fade. You fade them when they're favorites. Lucas is a dog, and let me tell you why. He has okay cardio. His takedown defense, 50%, is not good. His takedown offense isn't bad. It's weird. He can take you down, but you can take him down easily. His jiu-jitsu is okay. It's a little sloppy. He knows what's going on down there, but it does look a little sloppy down there. His striking's okay. And he looks crisp, but you can hit him a shit ton. He blocks punches with his face, and he has pretty decent volume. So he, all in all, fights the same way on the feet and the ground. He looks like he knows what he's doing. It looks good when he's on the offensive, but he is not defensively sound on the ground, and he's not defensively sound on the feet. So it's very odd. He can dish it out, and he can take it, but he takes it too much for my liking. He's durable. He's never been knocked out. But again, it's just odd. He's just a very odd guy. It doesn't look bad on offense, but God, you can hit this guy a lot. And Mike Trizano, I hate him. He's on the top 3 most hated people in the UFC. I don't like him at all. The Ultimate Fighter ruined him for me with that dumbass American flag cowboy hat. I can't stand this dude whatsoever. He's at a good camp over fighting with God. I don't even want to talk about it. Let's just get off Mike Trizano. He sucks. The lone wolf. I don't like anything about this guy, but he is a good striker. Even though he's hittable, you can hit him more than he hits you. But when he hits you, it's pretty hard. It looks technical. He has 70% takedown defense, so you can't just take him down. He forces you to stand with him. His jiu-jitsu, it's a little sketchy, but again, 70% takedown defense, you're not seeing it often. His only 2 losses are to Grant Dawson, who's good, and Hakeem Dawadu, who's good. So he's fought good competition. I thought Ludovic Klein beat him, in all honesty. I thought that was a screw job, but it is what it is. He's not bad. He's not a bad fighter whatsoever. Just because he annoys me, I'm not going to say he's a bad fighter. He's a good fighter. So he should win this fight. He's the vet. Minus 230 is not too much for him. He's a good fighter. So the pick is going to be Trizano, the bet, unfortunately. It's going to kill me to root for him, but it's going to end up being Trizano. All right. Then the next fight of the night is absolute murder. It's the co-main event, and it's a highlight spot for a Russian in Movsar Evloev. He is currently sitting at minus 420, the second biggest favorite on the card, going up against Dan Ige at plus 330. Let's just start with Ige so we can say something positive before Movsar kills him. Dan Ige is pretty good jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt, pretty high level black belt. He has pretty good striking. All in all, he's not a terrible fighter. It's just he has one little itty bitty issue called wrestling. He only has a 55% takedown defense. We've seen like the Korean Zombie take him down and utilize that. We've seen him lose in big fights. He had the Calvin Kattar fight was a big fight. He lost it. We saw him lose in a main event to Chan Seong Jung. We saw him lose a big fight to Josh Emmett. Once he fights the cream of the crop, he lost to Julio Arce. Once he fights a really good guy, he seems to kind of struggle. If you're middle tier, he's going to expose you. People like Kevin Aguilar, Masard Betchik, Edson Barboza was a good win, even though it was a little sketchy. I thought Barboza won. Gavin Tucker is good, and he was able to expose him and his chin, which also could have been a little fluky. He's had a lot of good luck, in all honesty. Gavin Tucker, and I was kind of lucky. Edson Barboza, kind of lucky. Bektik, kind of lucky. That was another split decision. So he's had a lot of stuff go his way. But then it's starting to struggle a little bit here when he gets the cream of the crop here with KZ and Emmett and Tucker. And Movsar, I think, is better than Emmett, KZ, and Kattar. I think Evloev is a killer. So all in all, I like Ige, but he can't wrestle. Movsar Evloev is a Russian wrestler. He's 15-0. He is the main training partner of one Peter Yan over at Tiger Muay Thai. His striking is improving. It's getting better. It's not the greatest, but it's getting better. But he has pretty good jiu-jitsu. I saw Mike Grundy have him in 1,000,001 guillotines, and he was able to get out of those pretty easily. Great wrestling. If he wants you on the ground, you're going down. There's nothing you can do about it. We saw him do it against Akeem Hawadu. It's pretty good wrestling. We saw him do it against Nick Lentz. I don't know why I said split. He killed Nick Lentz. Killed Mike Grundy, who is an Olympic wrestler, and he was taking Grundy down with ease. So enough said. The dude is a wrestling machine. Striking, not bad. Jiu-jitsu, great. Cardio, great. Not going to be a good night for Dan Ige, who has struggled wrestling, to fight a Russian wrestler. So the pick is going to be a Movsar. Unless he gets caught with something, he's probably going to dominate. Then that takes us to the main event. We have Alexander Volkov going up against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. We have Volkov as a minus 160 favorite going up against Rozenstruik at plus 135. Let's start with Rozenstruik. He sucks. He has very low volume. He gets hit more than he dishes out, even though he bills himself a striker. And his cardio checks out, but only because he never throws anything. It's kind of hard to gas out when you're throwing 2 significant strikes per minute. All in all, when he does throw, it looks good. And he has a shit ton of power. He has a lot of power. A lot of power. He's had a great camp in American top team, so he's looking better there. His losses aren't bad. Ciryl Gane, former champ. Curtis Blades will beat anyone who is not Francis Ngannou. And Francis Ngannou, the current champ. So his losses are to the current champ, the former interim champ, and the number one contender, basically. So not bad losses to have. But then you have to look at his wins. Augusta Sakai, not the greatest and kind of a little chinny. Junior Dos Santos, very late in his fighting career, who, again, he was losing the fat fight and then he came back with a knockout. Alistair Overeem whooped his ass for 14 minutes and then got clipped in the final 10 seconds. Won by knockout. Andre Arlovski, another 40-year-old. Alan Crowder, caught from the UFC. Junior Albini, caught from the UFC. His wins are sketchy because he's getting all of his decent wins, like JDS and Alistair Overeem. One, they were 40, and two, he was losing the fight, and then he just caught him. I can't trust him. It's just a headache waiting to happen, watching someone who throws 2 strikes every minute and hoping that one knocks them out. I can't do it. And especially in 5 rounds, he does not seem to care. Cyril Gane was a 5-round L. Alistair Overeem, 5 rounds, got absolutely dominated and caught him in the last 10 seconds. That should have been an instant L. Curtis Blades, that was only 15 minutes, but easy L. Cyril Gane, 5 rounds, L. Like, it's just... And then Francis came out and knocked him out in 20 seconds because Francis is a badass. So he's just not to be trusted. What you can trust is Alexander Volkov because he's durable. He has been knocked out in the past. So if anyone can knock him out, it's definitely Biggie Boy. Rozenstruik can definitely put Alexander out. But Alexander's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage here, and he's only been knocked out a few times. Obviously, Tom Aspinall tapped him out, but he's been knocked out by Derek Lewis, and he killed Derek Lewis. He absolutely dominated Derek Lewis and then got clipped with 10 seconds left. But again, Derek Lewis has the most knockouts in history, and he got knocked out one time back in 2013. He got caught once in Bellator. That's it. He's been knocked out twice. The man has fought 44 times and he got knocked out twice. Dude's durable. He's 33, so he's not like some old hag. He's only 33, and at heavyweight you fight till you're 40, so he might still have another good 5 years in him. He has pretty decent volume, 2-inch reach advantage, clearly the better striker, probably better on the ground. Wrestling, we're not going to see here. It's going to be a 15-minute striking fight, and we saw that with Rozenstruik. It was called Cyril Gane, and that's exactly how Alexander Volkov fights. And we saw him dominate Gane, and I think that's what we're going to see again in a very boring, technical striking battle. Give me the more technical, more volume Volkov, who is durable, as long as he doesn't go out. Don't get me wrong. I can't make him a lock, even though he should win, because Rozenstruik has that death touch. He can put you out at any point, even in 10 seconds left in 25-minute fights. But it's all he has is a puncher's chance. So give me the more technical fighter. Pick Volkov. Bet gonna be Volkov. And that is UFC Vegas, Rozenstruik versus Volkov. Again, make sure you give this video a like, smash that like button, give us a like over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok. We made it through the pod. Computer's not on fire. Let's get paid, baby. Let's get it.